When it comes to competitive sports, every athlete dreams of going for gold and representing their country at the Olympics. The Olympics are the hardest competition in sport today, and only the elite will ever get a chance to compete in the games. An athlete with the Olympic drive must fully commit themselves and their bodies to the sport they are training in. Athletes must spend the majority of their adolescence and young adulthood training and testing their skills at any competitive competition they can find. For Canadians, the highest competition before the real Olympics would be the Canadian Games. If an athlete can compete in the Canada Games and come out on top, there's a good chance they will be able to represent their country at the Olympics. In this short video, we'll be covering the selection process, history, athletes, sport specifics, and modern changes to Canada Summer Games. Although there are Winter and Summer Canada Games, we will just be covering the Summer Games.
For a long time, the idea of holding Canada Games was all talk, until one day in 1966 when the government finally approved the Games. The first Games were held in 1967, and since then they've been held every 2 years. Today, each of the provinces has held the Games at least once. For the years, there have been 50,000 athletes, 180,000 have tried out, and there are over 60,000 volunteers.
Okay, Amanda and I will now be discussing the sports played in the Canada Summer Games. Played in the Canadian Summer Games are divided up into 2 weeks. Some of the sports from week 1 are
basketball, soccer,
Volleyball,
rugby, tennis,
Week 2 sports include swimming, female wrestling, and a number of others.
canoeing, golf, soccer, athletics, baseball.
This summer, the 2009 Canada Summer Games were held in Prince Edward Island. The cities chosen for the Summer Games are selected by a bidding process. The bids for the Games begin over 5 years in advance. The provincial government nominates up to 3 cities that the province is ready to support as possible Games hosts. Once the 3 finalists are chosen, the Canada Games Council evaluates each bid. The valuation looks at 5 major categories, which are participant care and comfort, logistics, technical and operational, finance, budgeting and marketing, leadership and community support, and legacy. The Canada Games final evaluation is sent to the host provincial minister, who makes the final decision of where the Games will be held. The selection process takes at least a year, and the decision is announced 4 years prior to the Games.
The modern focus of the Canada Summer Games is for Canadian youth at national and provincial levels to perform at their athletic best in sportsmanlike form. In 1967, an investment of $800,000 in public funds financed the Games. From then, the Games have grown in size, complexity, and cost. Now, over $230 million from the Government of Canada and the host country, and with over 100 sponsors, have been able to fund the Canada Games. Half of this money goes to new projects such as the track and field complex, soccer grounds, swimming pools, and facilities built across Canada. Over the years, Canada Summer Games have experienced change. In 1971, the Centennial Cup was added to the Canada Games and was awarded to a provincial or territorial team that showed the greatest improvement over 2 seasons. Each Canada Summer Games, the province or territory with the greatest number of overall points is named the champion and is given the Canada Games flag. At this year's Canada Summer Games, Ontario defends their title once again and brings home the Canada Games flag 17 times out of the 21 games. During the 1990s, sports development increased. As a result, national and provincial sports organizations were ordered to build a full Canadian sports system. Since 1992, Athletes Canada has been the voice of Canadian athletes. While working toward a responsive sports system as the first independent and inclusive national athletes organization in the world, its main focus is to motivate a strong sport culture in an athlete-centered sports system, develop athlete leaders, and influence sport policies. Dreams and Champions is a new program which inspires and encourages young Canadians to participate in sport and physical activity. Also, Build Champions provides programs, tools, and supports young athletes to reach and succeed at higher levels. In 1999, the National Artist Program was introduced. This program brought young artists from across the country and challenged them to interpret the game's theme and express them through art. It created an opportunity for artists to take part in and experience the Canada Games. During the 2009 Summer Games in PEI, the Cultural Arts Festival was introduced. There were art exhibitions based on inspiring dreams and building champions. The culinary art part of the program featured a mobile kitchen. Chefs use their own recipes to create a flavor of the community. The CAF aims to create a celebration for Games participants, spectators, and the community that shows off the land's art and rich culture, as well as providing opportunities that connect to the National Canada Games.
Marilyn Mellifant, a young competitor in the Quebec Games, says this statement to exemplify the game's spirit. I seek fear to master it, weariness to test my mettle, hardship to conquer it, glory to share with my brothers, and I shall compete loyally. The characteristics of the games has changed over the years, although in the 1990s they have seen an increase in importance on sports development. National and provincial sport organizations will increase their emphasis on building comprehensive Canadian sport systems, and the host communities will be challenged with creating facilities and programs that will serve the sport long after the Canadian Games have left. The values of the Games clearly state, we are ethical, inclusive, and strive for excellence in all that we do. We work with integrity, honesty, and respect. We are accountable and responsible for our stakeholders. So I'm here with Marissa Sorrell, who is an athlete in this Canada Games of 2009. So what team were you on, Marissa?
I represented women's wrestling at 65 kilograms.
All right, so how do you feel your team did overall?
Well, our team won. And it wasn't just like an individual thing, it was our team thing. We all got like united, and I think that's what made us better than other teams. We may not have been as technical as other teams, but overall, like, we were just bonded so well. Like, we intimidated other teams. Everywhere we went, we were together. Everything we did was to.
Can I see your medal?
Yeah. This is for my team. We got gold, and it came in a nice little box.
It's pretty sweet. What about you? How did you do in the individual tournament?
In the individual tournament, I placed third. I got bronze, so
That's pretty cool.
I walked away with 2 medals, which is pretty good. So
Yeah. How does the Canada Games make you feel as an athlete? Does it make you more confident and make you want to try harder?
well, like the process of me getting to the games was like a year-long process. From last October, I was like training up at the university as much as I could, and training with school, and going to as many camps as I could possibly get to. Like, all my time was focused on wrestling. I was like, this is my year. This only happens once every 4 years, happens once in a wrestler's lifetime. And I'm like, if I'm going to go for it, I'm going to go for it all out. And it paid off. And now that I've done it, it's a goal that I accomplished that I really wanted to reach. So now I have other goals, so I'm just going to keep pushing.
That's awesome. Can you tell me about the overall atmosphere of the games? Like, do you feel like the provinces were united at one point?
We had pins. Every province got a huge bag of pins from each of the provinces, and you wanted to try to get a pin from each province. So then you would trade your Ontario pin for other provinces' pins, and I was pretty intense with this, so I got every province's pin.
And
Plus,
then some?
And then some. So,
All right. Thanks for your time, Marissa. Bye.